Okay, you guys, so you're in my bedroom for the first time I think I'm filming in there, at least since it's all done. So I'm sitting on my bed, having some ice cream, some coconut and dark chocolate ice cream. So good, but it's cold. How you doing? It's Sunday. It's the end of our first week of third lockdown here in France. It's lockdown, but we have the right to go 10Ks. I think it's like 7 miles around our houses. I finally picked my TBR, and so I already finished the book. The Man from the Train by Bill James and Rachel McCarthy James. It is a non-fiction book about a serial murderer in the US in the beginning of the 20th century. It's the first time I read something like this. I've never read something like this ever before, and it was picked at random on my TBR. I tried remembering where I've heard of that book, why it was on my radar, why it was on my TBR, and saved up in my script as an audiobook, but I can't. I thought it was from Emily's Fox channel, but apparently she never talked about that book, so I don't know why I did that to myself. It was a 17 hours book. I listened to it between last night while I was making some of these embroidery and a bit today. It was captivating, I would say. The murder mystery part of it was really captivating. The writing of it was, in my opinion, because I'd never read that before, was 0. So would it be fair to say I just lost 17 hours of my life? My bad. It was interesting. All the research they've done and everything. Basically, they compiled newspaper article about murders that were committed in very similar ways all around the US, and this was never done before. That people never connected all those together before, but it was very, very dry. It was just a statement of every single crime. And this book, there is around like 30 different crimes committed, over 150 people killed, all in a very gruesome way. And it's just a statement of that, basically. And in the last hours, they tell you, oh, and we found this evidence of the first crime, because it's not even chronological. So, oh yeah, we found this evidence that might have been the first crime, so that means the person who committed all of these crimes is that person. And we don't know what happened to him because it was never recorded. He just hid himself very well, and that's it. That was a bit underwhelming. Underwhelming. Shouldn't be. Speaking what I eat. Sorry. This is so good. So yeah, would not recommend. It was actually, I couldn't remember why it was on TBR, like which card made me took it. And it's because I picked the lowest rated card, and this book was the lowest rated on my TBR. So that's why we're here now. If you're not already in that kind of like non-fiction true crime, I'm not sure this is the place to start, because I started there and I don't really want to continue. So it relayed the reality, but in such a dry way that it was, I just wanted to get it over with, and I was like, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better once we know who it is. It's gonna get better. Actually, it's just a name. That's all it is. So yeah. In other news, I'm still reading L'Anomalie by Hervé de Tellier. It's a French book that got a lot of attention at the end of the year because it got the Prix Goncourt, which is a very fancy prize for book in France. I'm this much into it, and it's fine. it's fine so far. It follows a lot of different characters. It's set in the future from the point it was written. It's set in June 2021. It's about both people who live in the US and both people who live in France, and the only link between all those people, so for now I've read maybe like 7 different point of views. The only link is that they were all in one plane between Paris and New York in March 2021, and yeah, it's just the start. It feels like, I hope it's gonna circle back to the same people we already read from, because all of them had a kind of like cliffhanger where you're like, oh, now I'm intrigued, now I want to know, now I'm interested to speak, and then you go to another person. It's been like that for like 7 different people, and I'm getting a bit bored of the recipe, so I hope it gets better. I'll let you know. And now that I finished The Man from the Train, and it was not that great, I wouldn't. Oh, and I've listened to the 3rd book, Legion, Lies of the Beholder, which was different from the other ones. Legion is a series of short novels written by Brandon Sanderson. I love Brandon Sanderson. Here's a little clip for you that I capture of me and my cat.
Kind of beyond it to where now the way that an author is constructing a story is part of the joy. It's like I see a different layer, and I think I enjoy stories more than.
Do you like Brandon Sanderson, Tyra?
Regardless, what your goal is going to be here.
Are you passionate about him too?
Things that are intentional, not look at.
And yeah, I'm cross-stitching, real grandma.
The reader is reading like.
So Tyra loves Brandon Sanderson as well, and I didn't want the short stories to go that way. Basically, those short fictions follow one guy whose name's Legion, I think it is, and he is a schizophrenic, and he has 50 different people in his head, pretty much, living with him, and every single one of them has a different ability, like a specialty, and it's super interesting to see them solving crimes together. So that was the first 2 books were kind of like that, with a little underlying thing with his Stephen Legion own story. You could see that it was going somewhere with history as well, and this one was just Stephen Legion unraveling and the end of his arc, pretty much. But it felt very quick. It felt like it could have been 10 more books, and I would have been happy with that. It felt like there was no mystery in that one. It was just all what's going on in his head. It was a bit brutal in a sense, in the way it was done. It was a bit like, I don't know. I was very invested before, and everything that happened in that book, it was like, oh, too much information. I don't even care anymore. There's just too much. So yeah, I would have loved for it to be a series so much longer, but that's the way it was done. And I don't think Brandon Sanderson says he's not gonna write he hasn't planned to write any other Legion short novel, at least not anytime soon, in his humongous ridiculous schedule. So that's just the way it is. And I was wondering, while I'm gonna do some embroidery again tonight, if I want to listen to something. So I have a Joker card for my April TBR. I get to choose a book myself, whatever I want, anytime I want. It's probably gonna be a reread, either of Mistborn or of Elantris. I want to reread both of them. Mistborn, I've read it for the first time in 2019. Elantris, I've read it for the first time in 2020. And yeah, I would like to reread those 2, but don't know where to start. I have on my list of April's book, I only have one more audiobook to listen to. It's The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss, and I really want to read that, but I'm not in the mood right now. So that doesn't solve anything. I guess I'll let you know in a few days what I picked. Look at her over there. Just look at her. You want food? All right. What day is it? It's Tuesday. So it's Tuesday. I am making myself a pizza tonight, a homemade pizza, and I'm trying plenty of different things at the same time. I'm trying vegan mozzarella. We'll see how this turns out, and kind of vegan charcuterie, kind of. Smells good. I decided to film as I'm making dinner, but we'll see if I'm able to keep focused on what I'm doing and talking to you about books at the same time. So I'm still reading L'Anomalie by Hervé Tellier, and I'm enjoying myself way more than I was before, because I just finished part 1. As I was saying before, in part 1, you see plenty of different characters, never going back to the same one, and it always ends on a big cliffhanger. And the last chapter at the end of part 1, you actually understand part of what's going on, and it's just mind-blowing. And so it takes a whole different twist, and it's kind of science fiction-y, and I'm enjoying myself now. I'm halfway through, I would say, and I'm really enjoying myself. We'll see if it keeps it up. I'm excited about it now, and I finally decided what I'm gonna read, and it's a reread of The Final Empire, Mistborn, Brandon Sanderson, and I decided to listen to it on audiobook, and see. When I first read this was my second Brandon Sanderson after Warbreaker, and it took me almost a month, I think, to go through. I mean, they are quite a length, but I love listening to the audiobook, especially for Stormlight Archives. I love listening to the Stormlight Archives audiobook, so I'm gonna try the same method with The Final Empire. I don't know if I want to tab them or not. I don't know yet. I haven't started, I've just decided. So I haven't started yet, but some parts that I remember that I really loved, and some parts I'm like, yeah, I liked it, but I don't feel like a reread yet. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it at the end of this book. I'm excited because I think I forgot quite a lot, and I always felt like I liked this, but not as much as everybody hypes it up to be. So I wonder if by rereading it, I will get more out of it, and I will get more into it, and we'll see together. We'll see. I'm gonna start making my pizza because this didn't work. I hold a book. I cannot cook when I hold a book. So I'll show you how it turns out, how the pizza turns out. Here it is, ready to be put in the oven, and I'm watching The Good Place. It actually melted. I'm kind of surprised about that. It looks amazing as well. Look at that. And I'll write your name. So I've started listening to the book, and I'm already this much into it because I couldn't stop yesterday. I just couldn't stop listening, and I started to tab as well. I have small post-it notes that I have cut out. So pink is for the things I love. Blue is for the world building, all the magic and the environment building, and green is for the foreshadowing and all the Cosmere stuff that has, I haven't noticed any Cosmere stuff yet, but yeah, I'm this much into it, and I am loving this way more than I thought I would. I don't know why. I guess it's more in the second book that with the Kolos, for the people who've read the book. I hope I'm not, like, I'm trying not to ruin this book for people who haven't read it, but if you don't want to know anything, just skip ahead. But I'm really enjoying this. I'm at the end of part 1. I'm gonna start part 2 today, and I'm just having a fantastic time. I just remind me how much I love Kelsier, and I love the dynamic between Vin and Kelsier, and just like getting to see all of the crew getting together again, and this world as well. I remember in an interview, Brandon Sanderson said that Scadrial, is it Scadrial, the world they're in? I think it is, but I have to check. Please don't come at me if I'm wrong. Scadrian system. So yeah, Brandon Sanderson said in an interview that the Scadrian system is actually the closest to ours with the Earth. And yeah, I can see that now that I've read other books of his, Elantris and Stormlight Archive. The world is very different. Like, just the environment, the nature, the plants, the fauna, the flora. It's a lot different than what we're used to, like the weather and all that. But on Scadrian, they have horses, for example, and deers, and I forgot about that. So yeah, so that's for my reads. I haven't picked up L'Anomalie again, and I'm hoping this weekend I can go with the van and with Tyra, my cat. I have friends who have this huge field, and we can just go there with the van, and they'll be in their house and I'll be in the field, and that'll be fun, just to be outside, just to have fun outside, because Tyra is getting a bit claustrophobic. I'm gonna show you. Tyra? Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? I think she does. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna take you with me. Seen some clip of my weekend. I went away with my cat Tyra and the van to some friend's place, and I just walked my cat like it was a dog, pretty much. It was fun. It was the first time for me going away with Tyra, with the van and everything, and she liked it. She didn't like windy roads, like very like curvy roads, but other than that she liked the van quite well, and she loved being outside, so that was fun. She accepted to be on a leash for a few hours, and we did a walk, and she has a backpack as well. I put her in when she's too tired to walk, or when she decides she doesn't want to walk on the path. She just wants to walk on the sides of it all and then look at me. If I don't let her go where she wants to, she just drop on the floor and look at me like, drag me if you dare, you know. So it was fun. It was a very nice weekend, very relaxing. And books wise, I just finished this that got a very fancy prize, the prize Goncourt for 2020. and I don't understand. I must not be that smart, or I just read better books, or it's just not my taste, or I don't know. We were following like 11 different characters maybe in this book. It's quite a lot to keep track of. There was a bit of politics mixed in between France, America, and China. And apparently, if you trust this book, American people don't like French people. So let me know if you American guys, well, girls, or guys or girls who watch me, what do you think of French people? Oh, that would be a cool video, like your assumption on French people and French literature. That would be fun. If you have any question or any assumption, leave it in a comment. I would love to know that. That would be a fun one. But this, I don't even know if it's translated. I hope it's not. Just no rhymes or reasons. Just ended in a way like I'm like, okay, open ending can be cool, so you can like imagine whatever you want, but also it seems a bit lazy. Just the way it ended, it's like, okay. The twist of it, the premise of it, the twist is super good. Like, I would love to read another book with that premise. I can't tell you because it comes like halfway through the book, so I can't really tell you, but I love it. It's kind of like science fiction-y, makes you question our own existence on Earth, like as human beings, and there's a bit of religion into this as well, so that was interesting and cool. But the way it was done, it was just like all the characters were cliches. I felt like, so yeah, a bit disappointed, but I was forewarned by my friend Delphine, who gifted it to me. Thank you again, Delphine. I just messaged her because I was like, what the hell? And she warned me, and she was like, actually, I didn't really like it, so I don't know if you'll like it. But I'm still having a blast listening to the final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I'm a bit more than halfway into it. I feel like I'm liking it even more on the second time around. I don't know, I'm picking up on stuff, of course, foreshadowing, but all this stuff, the characters are just like, I love them. I really like them, and now I'm loving them. I don't know. I feel like I just love them even more on the second time around. I'm having a blast. And the first time I remember loving the character Sazed, and now I love him even more. And it's crazy the foreshadowing that Brandon Sanderson does in this. Like, it foreshadows stuff that are going to happen in the third tome. So it's like he's putting stuff in there in the first like 300 pages that are going to happen like in 18,000 pages, which is crazy to me. So yeah, I love Brendan. 1800, not 18,000. Anyway, I think that's it for this vlog. And I will see you in another one. I still have plenty to read for the month of April. I have this to finish. I have What the Days Owes the Nights by Yasmina Khadra. It's another French book. Well, it's a Nigerian book, but it's I have the copy in French. So I have that too. And then I have The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. It's an audiobook I have on Script, which sound amazing, and I can't wait to listen to it. So I will probably, the next vlog would be about that. Subscribe if you want to see more of that and more of that weird angle. We'll talk soon, guys. Bye.